Today in our video blog, we will discuss the classist and sexist stereotypes that underline today's internationally popular Korean dramas. But first, let's get on with a sample scene from The Heirs that encompasses all the stereotypes that we will be talking about.
괜찮아?
네가 걸었잖아.
걸지 않으면 잡아줄 수가 없잖아.
너 이상한 애구나.
이상하기만 해? 무섭진 않고?
왜 무서워야 하는데?
내가 널 자꾸 넘어뜨릴 테니까.
어떻게 알면 왜? 나한테 물어. 먼저 가.
Now stop. I'm sure you've all seen at least one scene like this before. Korean dramas are often criticized for their cliche plot lines just like the one shown. The typical poor girl meets rich guy plot is overused but is always loved. Whether it be in Boys Over Flowers, The Heirs, Secret Garden, My Daughter's Heeyon, Gold of Fear, or The Innocent Man, there's at least one plot line that follows a stereotype. Upon further investigation, we were able to see three main tropes within this stereotype that is harmful and often not true. The first one is called the star-crossed lovers. Just like Pita and Katniss in the Hunger Games who can never be together, the star-crossed lovers in Korean dramas can never be together because of their class difference. This class difference is often portrayed by the poor girl who works multiple part-time jobs while the male is often from a rich family and next in line to continue with his father's business.
Let's take a look at this scene from The Heirs.
치킨 여기?
죄송합니다. 16,100원.
In this scene, the female character Eun-sang is working as a fried chicken deliverer. This job, however, is portrayed as a shame to Eun-sang, something to be embarrassed about. Meanwhile, the next in line of Hotel Zeus, Youngdo and Eun-sang's classmate, parks his Harley Davidson and comes in to pay Eun-sang. As such, viewers are given visual cues through which the class difference becomes apparent. The girl lives in an old run-down house, while the guy lives in a huge mansion. The girl is always waiting for the bus at the bus station, while the guy drives past her in a flashy sports car, and so on.
Now let's take a look at the scene in Secret Garden.
죄송합니다. 다시 가겠습니다.
사장님 특별 지시랍니다. 직접 내려와서 보신다고요.
While Ryan, the poor stunt woman, throws herself into dangerous situations, the owner of the department store, Ju-won, watches from afar. While Ju-won is portrayed as an all-powerful and respected CEO, Ryan bends down and apologizes to all the staff members. Such differences in treatment and behavior towards the others further emphasizes the difference in social class. Viewers are given the clear impression that Ju-won and Ryan are clearly from opposite ends of the social ladder and that they're just not meant to be.
However, they soon fall in love because of their differences. The differing values and lifestyles intrigue one another and the two spend more and more time together. But the male and the female characters cannot ultimately have an happily ever after because of their differences.
This class difference is often reinforced in a few different ways. One of the most typical ways, however, in which the couple is hindered by the class difference is through the male character's mother. The mother-in-law of the impoverished girl is often portrayed as a scary mother who A. splashes water into the face,
B. gives money to leave a guy,
or C. does both. As a result, viewers are given very false and prejudiced impressions that socially acceptable interclass marriage is in reality impossible.
This portrayal of class differences is false because there isn't that extreme of a clear-cut social caste in Korea. Sure, there are the chaebols, rich Korean CEO owner families, but they aren't as common as one could just walk out onto the street and see a ton of chaebols.
Moreover, most of the time, the clear differences in luxury or ragged life shown in dramas are non-existent. The truth of it is, most people live in apartments and you don't see a flashy Lamborghini driving down the street too often. Even less likely is that the Lamborghini driver would suddenly fall in love, like Romeo and Juliet, with a lower-class bus rider.
Upon further research, it was apparent that the class division in Korean dramas is based on gender. It is always the girl that has the taxing economic demands, while the guy is the one working in his air-conditioned, marble-floored CEO office. Therefore, the next trope is coined the modern-day Rosie. Like the name states, it is a version of Rosie the Riveter, who is a poor independent young lady who tries to do everything for herself. However, in the end, she always seems to need help, reinforcing the idea that women are the ones who are always inferior to and dependent upon men.
Take a look at this scene from My Daughter's Heeyon.
In this scene, the male character offers to take Heeyon away from her life in Korea and to America, where she can study, which is what she always wanted to do. However, Heeyon refuses to go, claiming that she can work and live her own life by herself without the help of Uje, the male character. But in the end, she marries Uje to live a better, more luxurious life. The last trope is daddy longer legs because of the high positions the male characters always seem to hold. They look down at the people who are lower than them, which is to them almost everyone, hence the longer legs. However, in most urgent times, when people are in dire need of help, the daddy longer legs always seems to be there to help the vulnerables out, whether the other characters want it or not.
Take a look into this scene in Boys Over Flowers. After always being the meanest person to Chandi, calling her names, throwing her stuff away, etc., in the end, when she is getting bullied, it is Junpyo who helps her out. Like shown in this scene, he protects her from the flower and the eggs and stops the bullies, like Superman.
간절하진 않아. 네 꿈은 이 정도에서 접을 만큼 하찮은 거니까.
아저씨가 뭘 한다 그래요? 음악이 하고 싶어서 견디고 또 견뎠어요.
After seeing the sister of his dead ex-girlfriend and seeing the financial situation she was in, Hyunwook helps Sana out by paying off her debts to loan sharks and even giving her a job at his entertainment company as a music producer. Although he always acts like an annoying bug next to her, asking her to feed and walk the dog, bring him food, and etc., behind the scenes, he was always giving her help by making sure she always had a job and a place to stay.
These sexist stereotypes are obviously not true. Korean dramas give an overwhelming sense that the lower class population is predominantly women and that the upper class population is predominantly men. South Korea, however, has just as many males cast in vulnerable situations as females. There are just as many rich women as there are men. The drama's gender-based classist and conventional ideas become unhealthy to reality in that they implicitly categorize all the viewers according to the rigid class structure and the gender depictions that they portray. Consequently, the Korean ideal lives are formulated based on the cliches of the Korean dramas.
For example, many Koreans say that the best life a girl can have is to marry a good, rich husband and live quietly while just serving the in-laws. Therefore, many girls study music, art, and dance in college and go straight into looking for a male counterpart. Women have less a chance than men to work and pursue labor-intensive jobs or careers in the academics because of the belief that they are inferior and dependent on men.
On the other hand, males in Korea are pushed to work in big companies like LG, Samsung, or Hyundai and to always strive for perfect lives with sufficient income to support the luxurious lives of themselves and their family members. In such ways, the Korean idealistic dramas have shaped and molded the Korean society. They have told us what a successful life of a woman looks like and what the expectations are for men. These prevalent stereotypes in Korean dramas are causing people to unconsciously make limitations to their identity and potential, whether it be that girls always have to be hardworking or that guys need to be successful. The harmful plot formulas for dramas need to stop. Maybe a writer should stop and imagine how a guy would look like in a maid uniform? No, but really, how about a superwoman who breaks down the door and beats up all the male bad guys like this scene in City Hunter? Who knows what changes this might have on Korean society? Thanks for watching!